It's a beautiful Thursday morning, and you're welcome from wherever it is you're watching us. If you're watching by Facebook, DSTV, anywhere in the world that you're watching us from, welcome to Breakfast Daily. My name is David Kwaku Sakyi.
And I am Dziffa Ametam. We're so privileged that you can join us, and we do want to hear from you. So wherever you're watching us from, just join the conversation with the hashtag Breakfast Daily.
Yes, and we have a WhatsApp line too. It's 0550-585832 for those of you in Ghana. And if you happen to be outside Ghana, kindly prefix that with +233.
Now, every day we start our show off with some words of inspiration. So we'll take a look at our quotes this morning.
Yes, so the quote of the day today comes from Carl Bard and says, though no one can go back and make a brand new start, anyone can start from now and make a brand new ending. Wow, I like that. I like that a lot. No one can go back and make a brand new start, but anyone can start from now and make a brand new ending.
Yeah. And I think we can all apply it to our daily lives. You may not have control over how your story starts, but you definitely get to dictate how it ends. And it's sad when we say things like, because A and B happened to me as a child, I have to end up this way, or because something happened to me, I have to become this. Sometimes we lose sight that all those things are literally just footnotes in the bigger picture, the bigger chapter that we are writing. So once you know that I have control over how this ends, you don't freak out, and you also don't permit your experiences define your destiny, because God has a purpose for each one of us, and the reason why we go through all the things that we go through, and it strengthens us. There are some things that you just have to learn from experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about things that happen to us and things we have to learn from experience. Our brothers across how many hours away? It's about, well, it's a 12-hour journey, but it doesn't. It's literally like a 30-minute flight, away from us. In Nigeria, have been going through this thing for a few weeks now, where all the demand is that stop randomly profiling us and gunning us down in the streets. I think it's a very unfortunate thing that is happening, but it's really, really important that we speak up and speak out, from wherever that we find ourselves especially on this continent. We need to speak against the atrocious things that are happening to the regular, ordinary people in Nigeria. The assumption that because you look nice and you seem to have a little more disposable income.
Which is so ignorant. It's so ignorant.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's just, and you're right, it's ignorant, and the government needs to do something very drastic about the way the policing system has been set up. But our colleague, Caleb Kuda, brought us a quick report. Let's take a look at that. We'll come back and continue the conversation.
Founder of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, Fulani Kwajafa, told the BBC recently he feels sad and guilty the unit he formed 28 years ago to tackle a wave of armed robbery, kidnapping, rapes, among other crimes, had itself turned into banditry. Officers of the anti-robbery unit over the years have been accused of robbery, extortion, torture, and even extrajudicial killings of Nigerian citizens. According to Amnesty International, it had documented at least 82 cases of torture, ill treatment, and murder between January 2017 and May 2020. Tired of these, the youth of Nigeria started protests. But this year's has been the most radical. It is traced to a tweet on 3rd October narrating how SARS officers shot dead a young boy at Ughelli, Delta State, and abandoned him on the road. The tweet got more than 10,000 retweets. Thousands, including Nigerian celebrities, poured onto the streets of Africa's most populous country, demanding justice.
They come with all sorts of stories about reform, what they're allowed and what they're not allowed to do. but it's about time to completely abolish SARS. And that's why we're here.
We just to support the movement.
In response, the Nigerian government announced the disbandment of the squad, much to a short-lived jubilation, as the disbanded squad was to be reformed into another unit. The protest intensified. An indefinite 24-hour curfew was imposed on Lagos and other regions. However, videos on social media show the military opening live fire into the crowd of defying protesters at Lekki Toll Plaza last night.
My own friends have been kidnapped by SARS and taken to the cash point of the ATM to take money so that they can be released. Based on what crime? It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. Why are we having police on the road that are meant to protect us, but they're the ones giving us anguish and grief? You understand? So the system is not working, and we know that our leaders know. They've just been keeping quiet about it. And you keep keeping quiet about it, then there's going to be a revolution. We have to fight, because your oppressors are not going to willingly stop oppressing you. You have to fight them.
12 persons have so far been reported dead, but authorities there have denied such reports.
So there you have it. At a time when we're all celebrating Nigeria's technological advancement, Facebook went to Nigeria to invest in Andela. Recently, Paystack got $200 million investment from Stripe. And to be a young man, to be a young woman in Nigeria carrying a laptop looking like you are actually doing something with your life, this unit can actually target you and terrorize your life. It's gone beyond SARS. When you speak to young Nigerians, they tell you that it's no longer about SARS. It's about us feeling marginalized in our own countries. We hear this about people who feel as though they are not in their country. African Americans go through this in the US. They feel like maybe it's the color of their skin. But to feel like a criminal in your own country is dehumanizing, and we need to do something about it. We have a journalist in Nigeria that's going to give us an update on exactly what has been going on, so we'll take a look at that.
As you can see, where I am now is relatively calm, but I can confirm to you this evening that there are other violent attacks that has happened in other parts of Lagos. It was reported this evening that there were violent attacks in the Agege area of Lagos. But let me tell you, that there are reports of violent attacks in other parts of the state. But then the governor in the state broadcast this morning, it states that government will try as much as possible to bring the situation under control. What I can also confirm to you is that the curfew is still very much active, so we have few number of people on the streets. The streets are scanty.
So there you have it. And yesterday, you know, before I joined City, I used to work at a school in East Legon called Northwest Entrepreneurship School of Technology, and we had students from all over. So I started, I started reaching out to some of the entrepreneurs in Nigeria, just asking them how's business going, and they're like, Dziffa, we're not even thinking about business right now. We're thinking about our lives. The fact that if you need to travel out of Nigeria, you have to make sure you are dressed a certain way, you know, because you don't want someone to stop you at the airport and say, you can't do this, you can't do that. Just the psychological toll of how do I ensure that I dress in a manner in which if any member of SARS stops me, they are not going to terrorize my life because I have a laptop in my bag. They're like, the only time we actually feel free is when we're in Ghana. We can roam about. There's another young man who told me that he keeps his master's degree certificate in his bag so that when they stop him, he will show them that I'm not a Yahoo boy. I'm actually a highly educated Nigerian man. Now, for a young man in Nigeria, late 20s, early 30s, you're just now trying to understand your identity, your role in this life. You're trying to be successful. You're doing everything right. And for people who are supposed to be protecting you, to criminalize you to a point where even something as simple as going from my house to a coffee shop to work, I have to take in place, or how do I look? Do I speak well enough? Do I have my certificate in my bag? If I have this laptop, will they just take the laptop away from me and say, you can't do anything about it because I'm a member of SARS? What does that do to you? You know, and this is a time when the whole world is looking at Nigeria. Facebook has gone to Nigeria. Stripe gone to Nigeria. I think Netflix gone to Nigeria. So many companies globally are going to Nigeria because of the talent in the country. And it is sad that young Nigerians would have to deal with this in this generation.
Yeah.
But one thing they said to me that really made me feel proud is that for the first time ever, they're not going to allow anyone divide them by tribal affiliations, political nothing. The young people of Nigeria are saying enough is enough. We are human beings. We are in our country. We are not going anywhere. All you old people are probably going to die off. We are going to be responsible for making this country what it needs to be for the next generation. So we won't allow you instill fear in us to a point where we feel more comfortable in someone else's country than we do in our own country. And these are tech guys. They build things. They solve solutions, not just for Nigeria, but global problems. They are solving it right from Nigeria, in spite of all the challenges, shortage in water, shortage in electricity. It's like when you are born there, the stacks are so high up against you that your chances of succeeding is already slim. Then you have this people criminalizing you on top of it. Like, can't young Nigerians get a break?
Yeah, and for me, watching the whole thing unfold, one of the things that has really made me proud of these young people is the fact that, first of all, it's leaderless. Okay, so it's not something that, you know, typically what we do in Africa is that we look for those people who are in charge of the thing and then we snuff them out. We cut them off and snuff out the whole movement. This one is leaderless, right? So there's nobody to target. Everybody is moving. It's like the movement has taken on a life of its own, right? I think it's a very important thing to realize this. Now, one of the things I noticed, Dziffa, was that they were actually cleaning up after themselves, right? On the streets, you see when they go for the protest, they will literally have bags of, bin bags, and literally clean up the entire streets after themselves. I also saw some pictures on Twitter over the weekend of, when they're doing food distribution for the protesters, they actually fed the police as well. The police who were there just to make sure that things were calm, they would give them food as well as part of the protest. And so for me, I think our leaders need to understand, and I'm happy that finally our president, came out and spoke. I mean, it's a bit late in the day, but at least, he came out and was clear, in his position on the matter. But I think that it's important for the leaders to understand that this is not 1900. This is not 1950. We have moved far away from those days, and so where it is that we're going, things are different, and they need to get off their high horses, calm down, engage, and find out how do we solve the problem and solve it permanently moving forward. Okay.
And I think it's refreshing that entrepreneurs like the founder of Hotel.ng actually offered spaces in his hotel for protesters to actually stay. That, okay, if you find yourself in Lekki and you're stranded, come here.
Over.
It's showing that we're humans at the end of the day, and if our politicians want to do what they want to do, we are going to have each other's backs at the end of the day. And a lot of people were calling on to Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, who's our president, to speak up.
And the chairman of
this had
ECOWAS.
happened, if this had happened in the US, he'll be the first person to say Black Lives Matter, come to the Ghana, come here. And he finally spoke. That's his tweet. For the people who were
this is the continuation of the tweet. The initial tweet says, he says, I join all well-meaning persons in calling for calm and the use of dialogue in resolving the SARS impasse in Nigeria. I have spoken with President Buhari, who is committed to this end and has begun the processes that will lead to reform. Violence, be it on the part of the police or protesters, cannot be the solution. To the families who have lost their loved ones, I express my sincere condolences and I wish the injured speedy recovery. #EndSARS. Now, everybody feels, a lot of people that I know feel this way, that it's a bit late in the day, but I guess it's better late than never. I think it's important as the head of ECOWAS, the chairman of ECOWAS, he should have spoken much earlier, but we do have members of parliament speaking their thoughts on the protests. Let's take a look at that.
And while we wait for that, if you guys have any comments or contributions on what is happening in Nigeria right now, let us know. The hashtag is Breakfast Daily, and the WhatsApp line is 0550585832. We'll now take a look at the news making rounds in the country with News Roundup.
Welcome to the Central Regional News Roundup. I am Calvis Tete. We take you to the Advertisement constituency, where wife of slain Advertisement MP, Madam Ophelia Hayford, has filed her nomination to contest for the vacant Advertisement seat. Her decision comes days after the National Executive Committee of the NPP confirmed her as a replacement for her husband. Speaking after filing her nomination, Madam Hayford indicated her preparedness to continue with the good work of her late husband. Still on elections, the security apparatus in the Ewutu Senya East municipality say they will ensure peace before, during and after the 2020 general elections. The Ewutu Senya East constituency has been described as one of the hot spots in the central region when it comes to electoral violence. The constituency has been in the news following a recent occurrence at the Steps to Christ Registration Center during the voter registration exercise. In announcing their intentions, a joint police, military, fire service, and immigration officials met with the media and representatives of the political parties to deliberate on how to maintain peace in the area. The Joint Security Force had earlier marched through the streets of Kaswa to send a signal to would-be troublemakers to desist from doing so. Superintendent Samuel Odame, the district police commander, is confident the combined team is up to the task of maintaining peace in the constituency. In our final news item, the National Board for Small-Scale Industry, as part of its core mandate, has trained over 100 youths in Kaswa in the Ewutu Senya East municipality in various fields, ranging from catering, dressmaking, mechanics, among others. Additionally, trained individuals have been given seed monies and equipment. Speaking to City News, Executive Director for the National Board for Small-Scale Industry, Mrs. Kosi Yankee Aye, indicated that they have set up a monitoring team to ensure that the beneficiaries put to good use the help offered to them. Member of Parliament for Ewutu Senya East, who doubles as the Minister for Special Development Initiative, Madam Mavis Hawa Kumsen, who was at the event, gave assurances that the MPP government is ready to offer support to many more individuals. She urged constituents to vote massively for the MPP in the December polls to enable it to do more for the people. And this is how we end today's edition of the Central Regional News Roundup. I am Calvis Tete.
Hello, my name is Latif Mahama. Welcome to News Roundup here in the Upper West region. In this bulletin, a total of 31 persons are contesting in this year's parliamentary elections in the 11 constituencies of the Upper West region. Out of the number, 30 of the candidates are contesting on the ticket of 7 political parties, while 1 person is contesting as an independent candidate. The ruling MPP and the main opposition NDC have candidates in all the 11 constituencies. They are followed by the PNC, which is contesting in 3 constituencies, namely Nadoli Kaliu, Sesala West, and the Lora constituencies. The NDP follows with 2 parliamentary candidates contesting in the Jirapa and Sesala West constituencies. The CPP and the PPP have a contestant each in the Lambuse and the Wa Central constituencies. Still in the news, the immediate past chairman of the Convention People's Party, Bernard Ambata Yelamona, says he is confident of snatching the Nadoli Kaliu parliamentary seat from the main opposition NDC. The Nadoli Kaliu seat has since been occupied by Ghana's second Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Alban S.K. Bagbin, since 1992. Speaking in an interview with City News, Mr. Mona, who is contesting the Nadoli Kaliu seat the second time, says His support base in the constituency has grown over the years, making him the most preferred candidate in the upcoming polls in December. Mr. Mona is in the race with Anthony Suma of the NDC, Elvis Botta of the NPP, and Sandong Munibang Irafatau, who is contesting the Nodoli seat as an independent candidate. Finally, the Electoral Commission in the Wa Central constituency says they are outraged by the number of persons seeking to transfer their votes in the ongoing vote transfer exercise. The Electoral Commission on Tuesday commenced the exercise to enable students and security personnel to transfer their votes to their preferred polling stations ahead of the December general elections. The Wa Municipal Director of the Electoral Commission, Ben Alaglo, in a City News interview complained that some voters misconstrued the exercise and besieged the office seeking to transfer their votes. He said his outfit had no option than to send the over 200 persons away. City News sources at the office indicate that close to 200 persons have so far transferred their votes from the Wa Central constituency. And that brings us to the end of News Roundup here in the Upper West region. My name is Latif Mahama. Thanks for listening.
Good morning and welcome to News Roundup on City TV. I am Fatih Amin Ibrahim from the Ashanti region. Coming up, residents in the Greater Kumasi area of the Ashanti region have expressed worry over the growing state of insecurity in the region following 2 shooting incidents recorded within the week. Since the beginning of this year, the region has recorded a number of shooting incidents, out of which many of the victims have died. Most of these cases being investigated have not been fully resolved, as many of the perpetrators have not been apprehended. Worried residents are asking security agencies in the region to come up with innovative ways of addressing the issue. Following the killing of a young man at Atonsu and the shooting of a Chinese national who is currently on admission, residents have intensified calls for improved security in the region. Commenting on the matter, a security analyst, Joseph Ahim, attributed the recent shooting to negligence on the part of security agencies. He urged the general public to assist the police with relevant information and called on the security service to properly provide security in areas they have been assigned to. Moving on, discussions on the position of the 2 dominant political parties on the 2020 presidential election ballot paper continue to dominate conversations among electorates in strongholds of the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress. In the Ashanti region, members of the 2 main political parties are confident their balloting position will inure to their benefit in the December polls. In the Bantama constituency, which is the stronghold of the NPP, constituents believe the position of President Akua makes it simple for voters to choose him again in the December polls. In the Aswansi constituency, which is the stronghold of the NDC, sympathizers also believe John Mahama's position on the ballot means he will make it to the seat of government this time around. Finally, National Chairman of Opposition National Democratic Congress, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, says the party is excited about its position on the 2020 presidential election ballot paper. He describes the number 2 spot on the ballot as very significant in their quest to win back power. Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo made these statements when he joined the NDC's vice presidential candidate, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, to wrap up her 6-day tour of the Ashanti region. Although the Ashanti region is largely known to be the stronghold of the NPP, the NDC has vowed to win more votes in the December polls. In furtherance of its strategy to secure more parliamentary seats in the region and also increase their votes in the presidential race, the vice presidential candidates of the party, Professor Jean Nana Opoku-Agyeman, visited key constituencies in the region, including the Ahafo-Ano North constituency, the Asawase constituency, Setre Afram Plains, and Ofenso North as part of a 6-day campaign tour. Professor Jean Nana Opoku-Agyeman called on electorates to rally behind the NDC to win back power in the upcoming polls as she wrapped up her 6-day campaign tour of the region. That's all for News Roundup from the Ashanti region. My name is Sakyi Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching.
Good morning and welcome to today's news roundup from the Western North region. My name is Stanley Bwedi. The Sakyi Area Church of Pentecost in the Western North region has launched an initiative to safeguard the peace of the nation before, during and after the 2020 elections. Dubbed Agent of Peace Campaign, the church hopes to convince the larger society to eschew any acts of violence during the period. In an interview with City News, the district pastor for Sakyi, Emmanuel Akua, who hosted the program, advised the church members and the wider society to maintain peace before, during, and after the elections. He also seized the opportunity to advise politicians to conduct their campaigns devoid of personal attacks, amongst others. The launch was witnessed by many dignitaries in the region, such as the Regional Police Commander, DCOP Ochireboapia, the Regional Chief Imam, Ahmed Adams, the Deputy Regional EC Boss, Osei Insia, Nananom of Junase, and representatives of the various political parties. In other stories, some cocoa farmers and purchasing clerks in the environs of Betenase and Nkwadum in the Akontomra district are complaining of recent upsurge in cocoa theft in the area. The affected persons believe the recent increment in the cocoa producer price is what is leading to the upsurge. One of the victims at Betenase, Peter Mensah, popularly called Yaw Abrantier, tells City News they have reported the matter to the Nzara police. That ends today's news roundup from the Western North region. My name is Stanley Bwedi.
All right, so that's it for our regional news roundup, and I know that you look forward to hearing from different parts of the country because, you know, we have people that live in different places and they have family members in other places, you know, so it's good to be able to hear what's happening in some of those other places.
Well, some thieves have no shame.
Yeah,
I mean come on, if you're going to be a thief, have some standard. You don't steal from cocoa farmers. They're struggling as it is.
It's just, it's pathetic.
Thievery is wrong, period, but still there should be some. Anyway, today we're going to have tax dialogue.
Yes, our
friends are back.
Yes, are back. So Dr. Alex Ampabe is going to be with us. I don't know if the Tax Coalition guys will be joining.
I'm sure Jofi will find his way here too.
Jofi will be around as well. So that's going to be a very interesting conversation after the manifestos. We're going to be looking at the tax issues and what we can expect in terms of the coming years ahead.
And MOG Music will be in the house.
Gonna be in the house.
When he's here, you know, we're just going to enjoy music upon music upon music. So you don't want to go anywhere. My name is Dziffa Ametam.
And I'm David Kwaku.
Up next is News Review. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
During tough times, we need a competent leader we can trust to keep us all safe.
Nana gave me free water when I needed it most to keep me clean and safe from COVID-19.
Nana gave me lower cost of internet during COVID-19 to operate my small business from home.
Nana told us to trust him to keep our children safe from COVID-19 when we send them back to school. Nana was right.
Nana gave me free electricity in my hour of need during COVID-19.
Nana told us to trust him to keep Ghana safe from COVID-19.
Play the golden goal on Bet Planet today with just 20 Ghana cedis. You could win a Mercedes and 100,000 Ghana cedi worth of prizes. This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below the age of 18.
So Elections Bureau, welcome to the news review segment of Breakfast Daily. There's some 47 more days to the decision point for many Ghanaians this year with regards to the 2020 elections. Let's take a look at how the newspapers are reporting the major stories this morning, beginning with the Daily Graphic. Gold Assay Center blocks 14 million Ghana cedi tax evasion. That's according to Mr. Kwaku, Chairman, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. President Akua calls for calm in Nigeria. That is in apparent reference to the protests and the impasse in Nigeria. To the Ghanaian Times. 9 die, 14 rescued after collapse of church building. Nationwide evacuation of dam sites to Bunu region. And the main story, President, world leaders call for calm after days of violent protests, bloodshed in Nigeria. To the Chronicle. Violence can't solve Nigerian problems. That's according to President Akua. Workers sue Golden Star over forced labor. Police beat retreat at Lashibi robbery scene. And NDC neglected Oti, but I won't do that. That's according to President Akua. To the Daily Heritage. I'll back free SHS with solid infrastructure. Mahama points to track record in infrastructure development. I will win Crow's seat with 4,000 votes margin. Now Momo predicts. Only 18% paid depositors. Only 18% paid depositors of savings and loans companies cry. To the Business Finder. Ghana is ready for AFTA, that's the African Continental Free Trade Area. It's according to Alan Trematin, Minister for Trade and Industry. COVID-19, World Bank to see Ghana out of woods. Population and housing census takes off in 2021. Let's do some online stories now. To citynewsroom.com. Nanado urges Volta region voters to back him in 2020 polls. SARS impasse. Nanado can't do more than Buhari. That's according to Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, Frank Anodompre, made those comments on Point of View last night. Free SHS would have been non-existent if NDC had stayed in power. That's Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. citynewsroom.com, 7 remanded over Fantsman MP's killing. To the Eastern region now, Achim Batebi church collapse. Death toll rises to 14. To citybusinessnews.com, former PDS contractors owed over 1.6 million cry to government for payment. Would uphold high standards to have only the best firms listed. That's the Ghana Stock Exchange, GSE. Chartered Accountants Ghana Bill 2020 goes through second reading in Parliament. Ghana Link and Customs Division of GRA retrain stakeholders on ICUMS. It's the new system for the paperless ports. Producer price inflation increases marginally for September. To myjoyonline.com. Story says NDC MP threatens to sue Audit Service Board for its decision to audit foreign travels of Auditor General. For more news, log on to citynewsroom.com. For business news stories, log on to citybusinessnews.com. I have been joined in studio by two gentlemen, communicators for the two main political parties, the duopoly that we have in Ghana. Many people speak about it in different respects, but I have with me to my left, Alhaji Mohamed Nasiru. He's the NDC spokesperson, manifesto spokesperson on Zongo and inner city affairs. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
And to my right is the private legal practitioner, executive director of the EPA, member of the communications team of the NPP, Henry Kokofu. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So we'll begin with the stories that have got to do with the end SARS protests in Nigeria and the pressure that has been brought to bear on various leaders across the continent and in the sub-region to speak to the matter. We begin with the story from citynewsroom.com, where the president has made some comments regarding this matter. The story reads from citynewsroom.com. President Akua has called on the federal government of Nigeria and protesters of the End SARS movement to use dialogue in addressing the impasse. President Akua made the call via a post on his social media handles. Akua says he has spoken to President Buhari and he is committed to helping resolve the ongoing standoff. To quote the Twitter post, says, I join all well-meaning persons in calling for calm and use of dialogue in resolving the End SARS impasse in Nigeria. I've spoken with President Buhari, who is committed to this end and has begun the processes that will lead to reforms. Violence, be it on the part of the police or protesters, cannot be the solution. To the families who have lost their loved ones, I express my sincere condolences and I wish the injured a speedy recovery. #End SARS. Let me begin with you, Alhaji Nasir, on the issues that are going on in Nigeria. Of course, it's said that when Nigeria sneezes, everybody else in the sub-region catches cold. And coupled with the fact that President Akua is the president or the chairperson of ECOWAS, what do you make of the happenings in Nigeria and the comments from the president, as well as the support systems from the sub-region to end what is going on there?
Well, thank you. Having said a very big good morning to our cherished viewers and listeners to some extent, we also take the opportunity to thank you for this wonderful platform. It is very important we not run away from the fact that the subcontinent, West Africa, is in serious crisis as we speak in terms of security. You take the issue happening in Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, to some extent Burkina Faso and the likes, and it tells you we need to wake up as a people in order to arrest the situation and ensure that we continue trading among ourselves and ensure the peace that would see to the growth of our individual countries. For me, I have maintained that President Buhari himself and his posture in his own country might have led to the current impasse in the country, if at least from what we see in the media, social media, where he's being, projected as someone who is less concerned about agitations, and for that matter, probably because of his military background and how he approached issues might be different. But under democratic dispensation, you need to do things with more dialogue, more, you have to give more opportunities for people to come in, share ideas, so that collectively we can move forward as a nation. But the posture of Buhari is not giving that. But we cannot run to conclusion, because Buhari has been a president even under military regime. We did not see these things happen when he was president. So what has changed today for things to get out of hand? That is why it requires more detailed study and analysis to arrest the situation. I have always said that if we don't move together to arrest the situation in Nigeria, it is likely going to develop into another Arab Spring kind of revolution, where other countries within the sub-region will be affected. You take Cote d'Ivoire, is fragile. I mean, there is a groundswell where if you don't know and you trigger something, it could escalate. You go to Mali, I mean, we saw what happened quite recently. It's the same thing is happening in Burkina Faso, for instance. They are also fighting with the issue of mostly this Islamist jihadists and stuff like that. So it is very difficult. One would ask what would be the major reasons why the continent or the subcontinent is going through such crucial moment. I think one is because we have a great deal of our population who are youthful in nature, and they have come to realize that authorities or the system has left them out in planning. They've graduated from schools, they don't have jobs, they don't see any clarity as to how their future is going to be. They got across in the sub-region. And then also the calculated attempt by some elements in Nigeria to sort to, you know, push the youth on the street. If you see some of the videos of prominent Nigerians, some of them movie stars, some of them former government officials who today are old, telling the youth of Nigeria that they have disappointed the country because at their time they fought for the independence of the country. And if this time what they need is to fight corruption and ensure Nigeria take its rightful place in the League of Nations, then you realize that the youth will be listening to such things, and at the slightest opportunity they might also hit the ground.
The comments that the president made, some would say sprang forth from the pressure on social media. Did it take the president too long to speak on this matter?
Well, that's very, very unfortunate. It's very, very, very unfortunate, especially if you take the strategic position Nigeria plays with Ghana in the area of economy, in the area of power supply, in many areas because of our common language that we speak among French-speaking countries. And the fact that it is a very large population. Nigeria's market is something that the entire West Africa is proud of. And for that matter, we should manage Nigeria with care. And I expected that we shouldn't wait for American stars, I mean, to start, you know, tweeting and talking about the issue. We shouldn't wait for even the UN Secretary General to speak about the issue before we hear our president, who is the ECOWAS leader, I mean, add its voice to the issues. More so when his position, I mean, sometime back during President Mills's era, was that, look, you have to come in when there are problems in your neighboring countries. Then President Mills wasn't the ECOWAS chairman. Today you are the ECOWAS chairman. This is your position. I mean, this is what you've made Ghanaians to believe, that if they vote for you, you are so committed to ensuring that Ghana take its rightful place, to the extent that you would even try as much as you can with diplomacy, as we expect, to meddle with other countries' issue in order to safeguard our own country. Now it is your turn, and we don't see anything. The pressure was so enormous, and indeed what he said, I mean, by tweet, and I've seen what the ECOWAS Commission itself has also put together, I did not see any attempt to reprimand the system to stay away from the violation of human rights. That is very critical.
ECOWAS operates on a key principle of non-interference, even as this is essentially an internal issue for Nigeria. Is the speech or the comments from the president not keeping to this principle of not interfering in Nigeria's internal matters?
Not at all. As the ECOWAS chairman, if you take the ECOWAS charter, the convention, I mean, Article 1 clearly stipulates and talks about human rights. And if you see the abuse of human rights, you cannot tell me that even if the protester went to the extreme what we saw on TV as being broadcasted, how people were being killed, how police people were firing live bullets, was something to go by, and we should all accept it as such. I mean, we should reprimand the system to adhere to the principles and charters that we've all agreed to. That is protecting the human right and fighting against human rights violations. That is what I expect people to look at the system straight in the face of Nigeria. So let's look at the system, tell them the truth, so that we find an amicable solution to the problem. So I would entreat my good friends from Nigeria, some of us will be listening to us or watching us at the moment, to look at how collectively they can address their issue using democratic means, and then adhering to the rule of law that has been put in place in order to arrive at a definitive conclusion and see Nigeria continue to move. That would be the solution, instead of looking on to fuel it with some little politics. I have this interest, these people might have interest. The North-South divide issue in Nigeria, the outcome of Biafra and how it has deepened the mistrust among some tribes in Nigeria. All these things are recipe that could lead to a bigger explosion if we don't take the necessary precautions.
Let me come to you now, Leonard Kokofo. The issues in Nigeria, many believe that they took the president too long time to speak to it, especially in his position as chairman of the ECOWAS, irrespective of how delicate this matter is in terms of its diplomatic ramifications and all of that.
Yeah, let me begin by saying good morning to your cherished viewers, to the president of the land and all our leaders, and to your good self, my colleague also. It's been a while since I came here, so I'm happy to be back home.
And congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I think City was the first media agency that gave me an interview, the first to do an interview, official and formally. Thank you for that expose. Going forward, what's happening in Nigeria? We are told, or we've been told, or we are being told that the people of Nigeria, some segment, particularly with the youth, are protesting against what they call SARS. That's the Special Anti-Armed Robbery Squad, a unit within the Nigerian police service. People are accusing them of excessive use of force, other things that are uncalled for, and so people wanted disbanded. It started as such. We are told also that the president responded, that's President Buhari, responded by disbanding that unit. Yet the people are asking for more reforms within the police service and all that. These are the basic things that we know now that has triggered this kind of protest and confrontation that has led to violence and killings and all those things that are absolutely unnecessary. The other day it was South Africa with their xenophobia attacks that Nigeria suffered most, and the whole world spoke against that. Nigeria was up in arms, very angry, why their citizens were being maltreated, or other citizens in South Africa were being maltreated. We all showed concern. Today, it is they themselves that are killing themselves for what reasons I have given. It's unfortunate that we should have a giant like Nigeria having occupied a very strategic position within our sub-region, and indeed on the African continent in terms of economy, in terms of numbers, population, and in terms of even military might, for them to degenerate into this kind of violence at this time of the period. I add my voice to all those who are saying peace must prevail. Back home, and what the president is being accused of, I mean, it's quite unfortunate. And you rightly put it, the highly volatile political system in Nigeria relating to ethnicity and all manner of things. My brother mentioned about North-South divide and talked about the Biafran War. Nigeria have a history that is so painful that you need not unrake at any time in the day. So when certain things happened, or these things are happening, and you need to get in, or you need to make a word, you have to be very careful and calculated. You shouldn't lose sight that these are diplomatic levels, and it has their own protocols when to speak and not to speak, or publicly or not publicly. As chairman of ECOWAS, he has a responsibility to learn and understand what really there is underneath and all those things before he comes up openly to make a statement. Indeed, others will have to do, whilst he as chairman will be studying and looking at the trend, how it's going. And if you read Daily Graphics, page 16, under violence, not the solution, it tells you, and I quote, "I have spoken with President Buhari, who is committed to this end and has begun the process that will lead to reform."
Couldn't he have been much more definite with regards to what ECOWAS is doing, especially as president, to ensure that the concerns that are being raised, the concerns about police reforms, the concerns about governance reforms, because it's evolved from just calling for SARS to be disbanded, or SWAT to be disbanded, to much more germane issues in the country that must be addressed by the leadership of Nigeria.
I believe you are not suggesting that ECOWAS should go and run Nigeria affairs.
That's not the point.
But that is exactly what you are espousing. That is what you are espousing. And how can that be? It is undone. You can't do that. It's an internal affair. And they have their structures to deal with all that. And indeed, let it be. There are diplomatic principles to follow in matters of these. Do you remember the Ufiasem?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
The Ivorian issue.
And who said so?
President Mills. But at the time,
a Ghanaian president.
Yes, but at the time, candidate Akua accused him of not being proactive.
At that time, ECOWAS as a member countries has sat down and then taken a decision that this is the way to go. You understand? Even then, when they have all sat down, all the head of states of ECOWAS have sat down and taken a decision as to the direction to go, our president thought it, in his estimation at that time, that it was prudent enough for him to stay out of Ivory Coast crisis, not to meddle in. So it should be Ivorians who, that was his principle, even when they have decided. In this case, ECOWAS leadership has not met on this Nigerian issue. No decision has been taken. So we are saying, as chairman, single-handedly, out of his own volition, he comes out and takes decisions that we're moving to Nigeria, or going to determine the terms and give directions in Nigeria. Please, we must be careful here. We are talking about sovereign countries here who have their internal structures in place. They have everything. Nigeria is not a toy nation. So please, putting it on the peninsula of Mali, there was a coup d'etat. ECOWAS came down. The entire leadership came down, sat down, took a decision. And as chairman, he proclaimed the decision of ECOWAS as member states. And it worked, and it's working in Mali. This is a different scenario altogether. For you know, you and I might not know what is going on and behind the scenes among the leadership of ECOWAS. So to single out your president and say he's the chairman, so he should have done this A, B, C, D, give that run Nigeria from his office as president of Ghana and chairman of ECOWAS, please. These things must not be countenanced at all. Okay. We must commend him at this point as being a father who will want to look at things properly and then get things done appropriately. He has spoken to the president of Nigeria. He has indicated to him that there is the need to dialogue. The violence must cease. the protesters and the police or the security agencies must see reason to dialogue and stop the violence from either side. Yes, protesting, no problem, but non-violence protests will be the best option for them to take. And indeed, if the security apparatus in Nigeria deem it fit to sort of control the protesting going on, it must be done with more professional guidance and all that. And that is the more reason why back home, and indeed around the sub-region, we need to be careful as to how we relate to one another, how our utterances and all those things. Any little thing that triggers violence will not be good for anybody. And that is why, at this stage, I understand, and I was happy when our colleagues in NDC, after they've gone out their nationwide demonstration against the Electoral Commission voter registration exercise, they came, after they've done, they came home and congratulated Ghana police for their professionalism and the way they handled the whole issue when they did the protest. Of course, they were non-violent, which was also good in itself. They did their demonstration, they did their protest and all right. And the police, in return, was also professionals enough to make sure peace prevailed. That is how we should be going. And we commend ourselves as Ghanaians for going through some of these things. But then we cannot also overlook the fact that our utterances and our actions and inactions should not be seen to be leading to certain chaotic situations in the country. Let us all preserve and respect and protect the peace that we have. It is my prayer that our brothers and sisters in Nigeria will see wisdom and then see to the fact that they are one people with one destiny and they have Nigeria as their home. If South Africa did to Nigerians in South Africa, nobody was happy. Why do it to your own self in your own country? It cannot be countenanced. I mean, we must all condemn that.
Okay. So we'll take some of the messages that have come through.
I don't know. I just want to chip in something. Okay.
Okay. So just a minute.
Okay.
If you want to make
what I want to say is that, you see, my brother and friend should also consider the fact that currently in Nigeria, the goalpost is shifting from just the issue of SARS to more of a need for a change in government, which makes it a very volatile situation. That is our worry. That is why we think ECOWAS must step in immediately. That is why we think AU must step in immediately before even it gets out to the international community to come in to support. If we lose Nigeria in Africa, we are due.
Okay. Let me bring you a couple of messages that have been coming through on the WhatsApp line. This one from Camille Yasiba in Tamale says, I also agree with President Akua what he said about the use of dialogue to address this problem. It's really pathetic to see people being killed in peaceful demonstrations in Nigeria. Ejadam from Inyan Mim says, the high-handedness of the Nigerian government against protesters seeking police reforms is deplorable. It is my expectation that the leadership of ECOWAS would call President Buhari and his government out as President Akua has done in the strongest words possible. As ECOWAS citizens, we must also show solidarity in all shapes and forms towards our brothers and sisters in Nigeria. ECOWAS should declare 2020 as the year in which it will transition from ECOWAS of states to that of citizens. We therefore have earned the right to speak up in defense of all citizens of democracy. We'll take a break here. When I come back, there are a couple of other issues that will be discussed with regards to the stories making headlines this morning. Stay with us.
Play the golden goal on Bet Planet today with just 20 Ghana cedis. You could win a Mercedes and 100,000 Ghana cedi worth of prizes. This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below the age of 18.
This is Breakfast Daily on CCTV, the news review segment. Before we went to the break, we were discussing the matters next door Nigeria in terms of the end SARS protest and the comments from President Akua urging calm and getting the message from President Buhari across with regards to how Nigeria intends to deal with the issue. Let's move to the second issue for discussion. It's got to do with the fight against illegal mining and the alleged missing excavators. So the Lands and Natural Resources Minister Kwaku yesterday addressed the press and he made comments about this issue, which has been one of the matters that have come up with regards to the ongoing campaigning season. The story reads, the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry is working to reconcile the number of excavators seized at the peak of the fight against illegal mining. At its last count, the sector minister Kwaku said his outfit currently has 157 excavators in its possession. There are 122 excavators in Adentan, 26 in Obuasi, and 9 in Takwa. Speaking at the Information Ministry's Meet the Press series yesterday, he said Operation Vanguard gave 290 excavators while Galam Stop accounted for 81. Mr. Chairman, however, assured that the ministry is currently working on reconciling these figures, which were hitherto given by the Operation Vanguard and Galam Stop. To quote him, he says, but for now, this is what we have counted at the sites mentioned. Let me begin with you, Mr. Kokofu. As an environmental scientist, this is, protecting river bodies, Galamsey issues is something that must be of concern to you. But this issue of the missing excavators and it, being accounted for, and the minister giving assurances that they are not missing, as against the numbers that we have around and the concerns about this government not dealing with the issues of Galamsey not really well. What do you have to say? Or what would be your response to those who say that indeed there is a collusion and to take away these seized excavators and give them to people from your party?
Well, the fight against Galamsey, I must say, is one that caught fire with the large populace of, the larger populace from all spheres, particularly journalists. The government had a lot of support from journalists and other civil society organizations to fight against it. And you must know when it was at its peak, and then to know where it is now, to appreciate the gains made so far. Those of us who were in the field and those of us who really saw and we were witness to what really was happening will attest to the fact that for not for this exercise that was undertaken, we would have, nobody knows where the country would have been by now. Most probably all these places may be excavating.
But has the fight been sustained? Just recently there was an issue raised in Parliament about the headworks near Dabuase affecting River Ofin and Pra, because some people have started, the illegal mining operations again in that area.
Yes.
The question is about sustenance of the fight.
Yes. The sustenance had suffered a bit because there was the need to rethink and then reorientate the whole exercise itself. So the authorities are working around the clock. It was to use the military and the security agencies. They were on the forefront. But then you cannot do the same thing the same time and hope to achieve different results. You need to re-strategize and rethink. But the fact still remains that the attempt, the initiative taken to put an end or fight this common cause or this good cause is quite commendable. It has reduced, it has brought to bear barest minimum the impact. Those who really were in there and who were fueling and who were sponsoring and all that, a lot of them have backed out. So we will still see remnants of people doing. And once they are caught, the law deals with them. And once they are caught, their machineries are seized. Those things are ongoing. But as to in the heat of it, yes, to sustain the heat of it, something that needs to be re-strategized. And this is exactly what the Lands Minister is talking and doing now on the ground. The issue of excavators missing and all that, and being given out to other people to go and do. That's why he took the trouble to tell us the numbers. He gave us the numbers and gave where they can be found. And true to his word, when you get to Adenta, you see all of them packed over there. All of them packed over there. And processes are on to get to the real true owners so that those who really deserve to be given back, they can do so. And they had an exercise of putting trackers on them before they release to owners so that they can track those machineries, whether they are being used for small-scale mining that is legal, or now we have community mining that is being regulated, other than the illegal mining that we all call galamsey. The issue of illegal mining or galamsey transcends environmental issues. It leads into social and if you like, political angles and all those things. But the end effect is the environment that we all see, the biophysical environment that we all see, our water bodies and all those things. So I will entreat Ghanaians to continue to be with the government as we continue to fight this menace. However, I am with the opinion that the ministry must speed up these processes of knowing which of the machines are eligible to be given out again to their owners that may be used or will be used for small-scale mining, legal small-scale mining, and the community minings and all those things. I mean, the owners, I say. Until then, nobody has anything to say excavators has got missing. They've retrieved all
They've called for a full-scale probe. The NDC, they say they will do that and punish those who would be found wanting in terms of people who may have appropriated the excavators for themselves. This is something that the government has failed to do so far. A full-scale probe into the matter with regards to these missing excavators.
But those, where are the missing? Who says they are missing? The minister has shown, and they are there. You can go and see physically.
There were 536. These numbers don't add up to that in terms of the figures that were provided.
You can run with numbers. You can say anything. You can say 1,000. And yet, that may not be the case. You can say 2,000. Who said 500 excavators? Were they in there? They seized them? What has NDC got to lose when we are fighting galamsey? What has they got to lose when we, as a nation, are trying to fight galamsey? Most probably, because it had time, and they pretended over excessive illegal mining activities, they were gaining, maybe, as a political party. I do not know.
That's an allegation that, well, I'm sure he'll have the opportunity to
yes,
respond
of course, because it was their time. It was their time from 2012. Galamsey activities heightened up in this country from 2011, 2012, up to 2014, 2015, leading to 2016. That is not to say that there wasn't illegal mining in the country. No, there was, but on a very small scale level that were not so much to be seen or recognized at that time. But it got to its peak from 2012, 13, 14 coming, when the actors, I mean, pure political gurus were in there. And for me, it is not about time apportioning blame. We, as a nation, through our president, have decided to fight this menace, and that should be the focus. That should be the direction that we go. For a mere propaganda, J-Mix going around saying, I will give back all the excavators, I'll punish those. You want us to go back to the days of heavy galamsey. Well, that is for Ghanaians to think about.
I'll bring you in here now, Alaji. And
it's very important.
Kwaku believes that government has done its best to sustain the fight in terms of what we should go by, exactly what the minister is saying. Your flag bearer has had cause to mention the fact that government, in the prospective NDC government, there will be an institution of a full-scale probe into the matter. So what has been done? Is it not enough in terms of unraveling this issue with regards to these excavators?
Absolutely nothing has been done. Absolutely nothing. I mean, and I would point them out to you as we proceed. It is very important. We take pride in associating our political party, the NDC, with small-scale mining. Indeed, it was a dream of the NDC since when Mills introduced the small-scale mining, where we legalized it and registered businesses who want to undertake such activity. And we saw the drastic fall in the number of casualties we were seeing day by day in other, in most areas where there's mining going on when we didn't have the small-scale mining. When we registered them, we put them in good shape, we gave them the necessary guidelines, and they were doing their job very well. Indeed, if John Dramani Mahama won the election in 2016, one of the big ideas we had was that, look, there is a gap, because we've realized that if you take mining from the small scale, you move quickly to the large-scale mining, where the gap between the small and the large, which is the middle scale mining, is not in existence. So we promise indeed to bring in the middle scale mining so that we have a comprehensive mining program. We couldn't win. The MPP won the election. One of the biggest promises that the MPP made to the good people of Ghana is the fight against galamsey. Very good. Everybody
which has been carried through to a certain extent.
Everybody joined it. The media, the opposition party. We noticed there is a problem. We need to solve the problem. Then on the way, we didn't force anybody. We didn't, nobody was pushed to say things. But when they realized the level of canker going on in terms of corruption with this activity of fight against galamsey, they need to start coming up. In January of 2020, if you go to City FM online, you will see the publication in words by no less a person than the Minister for Environment himself, Dr. Frimpong, who disclosed to the good people of Ghana that over 500 excavators are missing. And out of the excavators they have seized from the fight against galamsey. He himself said it. So if Kokopu wants to know who said 500 excavators are missing, I'm pointing to him. It is Frimpong, the Minister of Environment, under President Nana Addo Kwaku as president.
And the minister gave an update. Says 157 are in their possession now. The ministry, 122 are in Adenta, 26 in Obuasi, and 9 in Takwa. They are reconciling the figures.
From? How long have they been? Yes, where are they from? Those are the questions. Because if your things are missing,
operations that were conducted as part of, the fight against illegal mining, Operation Galam Stop, and the others.
And they put them where? Do you understand? Because
a lot of them were packed in Adenta.
So how come Frimpong himself needs to come out and tell us that he is the supervisory ministry and he supervised and have noticed that some of the excavators his ministry has seized are missing, and he's telling the world so that we begin action. And indeed, he promised the good people of Ghana that he's going to investigate to it end. Then later we started hearing his own son is involved in this whole activity. It will kill his effort when people begin to attack him. We'll put that aside. Mutawakili, our Honorable Mutawakili, our ranking member on Mines and Energy, has consistently raised this issue in Parliament, has consistently pushed the ministry, has asked for detailed investigation into this matter. Then we have ended up in the hands of one Mr. Chairman, the Honorable Minister today, who is in charge of lands and forestry, isn't it?
That's right.
We go back and ask what happened when he was the minister, Brown-Harper Regional Minister. His own party people, the chairman of the party, the vice chairman of the party then in the region himself, on the 14th of November 2017, told the whole world that if you are looking for a criminal in the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo administration...
I don't think these are comments that he will be here to respond to. So the minister will be here
well,
to
if he has to respond, he should respond to his party.
He's not here to respond to these comments. So it will be unfair for you to put them out on this platform when he doesn't have the opportunity to respond to them fairly.
They are not my words. Okay. The fairness in it lies in if he has been able to respond to his party to prove to them that what his own vice chairman in the region has put out to the public is not true. We've not heard that. What investigation has been done? All that we could hear, because the tension is mounting in the Brown-Harper region, they had to move him from Brown-Harper region and make him now overseer of the same forest he's depleting in the Brown-Harper region where people were...
from a reshuffle. Various reasons could have been ascribed to it, not necessarily what was happening in the Brown-Harper region.
Well, so if in Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government, reshuffle happened to people who have been accused by their own party in their region, and they go to better places from where they were, then Ghanaians will judge for themselves. Nobody is not saying he's not reshuffled, but this is the accusation leveled against him. He is not taking the man to court. He's not proving otherwise the allegations of this young man who is a member of his party. Now, if we move forward and start to ask ourselves, what is the rationale for this whole exercise where we have looked on for people who have invested in legal businesses to lose all their investment? It's all to save our water bodies. The big question today we ask everyone is that, is our water body clean? No. So what has been going on since the fight? Has someone caused financial loss to the state by the amount of money or the resources the state has put in this fight all to fail? Don't forget, the president himself promised the good people of Ghana that he, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, will lay down his presidency if he doesn't succeed in this fight. Have we succeeded? Why is he still in power? If we intend to investigate this matter and get to its logical conclusion, we know what happens in every state institution. When you are investigating someone, you don't leave him in the office because he can meddle in the investigation. Who has been taken out of his office? Is it Frepom Wati who has raised the question? Is it Kwaku before this now, who was taken out of his office because we were told that he was giving all the excavators to charge them to Accra and wherever they want to keep them? Is it the other gentleman, I forgot his name, who also was involved in the Galamsey operation, the Vanguard or something, Galam Stop, who was also seen by another expose by a journalist that he was taking money, which were all issues.
It's some sort of investigation is going on with it.
And I'm saying that
he was cleared of all of these issues when the investigation was done. You're talking about Charles Bisu.
Charles Bisu, yes. He's been cleared. He's been cleared.
Yes, of all of these
that he didn't take the money, isn't it?
That this was not in relation to whatever was
what money? What does he sell in his office that he takes such amount of money from private individuals? What does he sell? Don't we have code of conduct in our office? I mean, let's get ourselves serious in this matter. It is a very serious matter that is driving the country somewhere. And we cannot run away from the fact that people, individuals who have invested, legal businesses, they've taken loans from banks. Today, they are suffering in their home. Some of them are dying. A known NPP member who was involved in this activity when his excavator was burnt. We all heard what happened. We all saw what you call it, the publication and the series of press conferences my party did to highlight and indicate to good people of Ghana the canker and the rot within the mining sector. And it is under the supervision of the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo administration, and nothing has been done about it. Who is talking about the fact that today we have a tape, and no one has denied the voices in the tape? where party official, where Kwaku was telling Fripon Boati, the minister, that we agree that party needs money, so we should send some of this item to the party. Who is investigating?
We can authenticate on our platform. So.
It's not what?
It's not a tape that we can authenticate on our platform.
I didn't say you should authenticate. I am the one speaking about it.
We can't allow you to make such allegations.
Why? Because?
Yeah. So we'll take a break here. When I come back, we'll deal with the last issue for discussion. This is Breakfast Daily. We'll also read your comments as well. Thank you. Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on CCTV. Before we went on the break, Alhaji Nasir was making a point. So
yeah,
just 1 minute to wrap up briefly.
Yeah, I just will round it up with a publication on the 21st of February on Ghana Web by a statement by Professor Fripon Boati, where he indicated all 500 stolen excavators will be found. That is the promise he gave to Ghanaians. He never ran away from the fact that 500 excavators are missing. If today we are being told there is from 290 somewhere and 81 somewhere, where are they from? Where have they been? Who has used them? Who has benefited from that seizure? These are the investigations the good people of Ghana wants to see. Then they will be committed. Then they will be convinced that indeed the government decision to fight Galamsey was not a rhetoric, but an attempt to divert businesses that hitherto belong to private people to his party faithfuls, but a real and a true fight.
Okay, we'll move to our third story for discussion, which has got to do with comments from Dr. Vladimir Nchidanso with regards to the matters of electioneering and the comments from candidate John Dramani Mahama. So we read from citynewsroom.com. Yeah. The Dean of Academic Affairs at the Ghana Armed Forces Staff and Command College, Dr. Vladimir Nchidanso, has rebuked former President John Dramani Mahama and presidential candidate of the NDC over his persistent attacks on the Electoral Commission in recent times. Mr. Mahama on Thursday, October 15th, called the integrity and the professionalism of the EC into question, warning that his party will not accept flawed election results. Addressing party supporters and sympathizers at Abra in the Central Region, Mr. Mahama said the Electoral Commission was bent on organizing a flawed election. According to Dr. Nchidanso, it is nothing short of mere propaganda by the former president to paint the Electoral Commission black to NDC supporters. He cautioned that such utterances must be discouraged by Ghanaians and tasked every Ghanaian to rally behind constitutionally mandated institutions, as it is the only way to defend Ghana's democracy. I begin with you, Mr. Kufuor, on this issue.
Yes, the man has said it all. And did you give his background?
He's a political scientist, respected one at that international expert. Now he's the Dean of Academic Affairs at the Ghana Armed Forces Staff Command College.
Yes, and he's very much versed in security issues. Yes. Yeah, it's very worrying to hear the flag bearer of NDC. Now it has become part of his message everywhere he goes. Indeed, he has espoused that kind of thinking in almost all the regions. And it was the turn of the Central region that he and his party are not prepared to accept flawed elections come 7th December. And you learn all this and you laugh at it. Consistently and persistently, NDC have been on EC just to weaken their morals and destroy the fiber of integrity that is reposed in that office, forgetting maybe by them that it is a constitutionally mandated entity body. And so surprising, leading the attack is their flag bearer, former President Mahama. On more than 18 times, he defended the EC when he was president. More than on several occasions, he asked that the EC be left alone to do its work. He said that as president, he has no way to meddle in the work of the EC. And he came to the defense of the EC during his tenure of office, only for him to exit. Then he got to know that the EC can be mangled, can be maligned, it can be... So it has gotten to a crescendo that we have individuals and well-versed individuals like Dr. MP Danso coming up. There are a lot more people out there, including civil society organizations. Indeed, there are a lot of people within NDC, top hierarchy, who are not happy with the utterances of the flag bearer. They claim.
I don't know where he found this, and you don't have any problem with that.
You have a minute to wrap up so that I'll give you that opportunity.
You will not accept it. But he has nothing to prove that. I expect that he will prove that.
Yes.
That in NDC.
Please allow him to make his point. In the next 1 minute, you would have the opportunity to wrap up.
A lot of well-meaning Ghanaians, including Dr. Nkri Danso, are worried about these utterances. The simple reason being that you've been in government before, you've been president before. There have been precedents that elections that one thinks was flawed, the way it went, the law is there and it's clear. 2012 elections, New Patriotic Party, with our leader Nana Kwaku thought the elections was flawed. All we did was
in the constitutionally
mandated law. Okay. Within 21 days, we filed a petition, and we went to Supreme Court, and the case traveled. Everybody saw on television. At the end of the day, verdict was given, and it was given in your favor.
Okay.
And
so
the man who went to court accepted it. So
Alaji has
December 7th, if Mahama and NDC thinks that the elections is flawed and they are going to lose, and this is a premise for them to prepare the grounds of their people that they will reject the elections. It's a defeatist idea. Okay. It's a defeatist move. If he thinks after 7th December, on the 9th of December, the elections is called and he has lost it and he thinks it's flawed, the way is there. Go to Supreme Court and stop wasting our years.
The same course about constitutionally mandated and not attacking the Electoral Commission. That's the call from Vladimir Mchidanso.
Yeah, you can. Is it Professor
Mchidanso?
Professor Mchidanso, right? You can depend on the institutions. Indeed, that is what we are supposed to do as Democrats. But if you come under a government that is showing gross abuse of his powers to the extent that he meddles in the affairs of independent institutions, then you have a cause for alarm. I can give you a typical example. In the case of Hao Kumsin, where the regional police commander was adamant and was keen in investigating the matter to its conclusion, we also how he was transferred, out of the region. You cannot continue with the investigation if you are out of the region. There are many such examples. Recently, we are also told that there has been an attempt to move a judge that was on the case.
That has been disputed.
We heard that attempt as well, and many others that has transpired. Then you begin to wonder what those institutions that are supposed to be independent will do to you when you let your guard and accept anything that is put in front of you. You cannot continue in that direction. We need to also look at the fact that the Electoral Commission itself and its conduct, since she was put in office up until today, have we seen instances that will call for, cautioning, so that she can also live up to expectation? Yes, we've seen such instances. We've seen instances where registration were done in a manner. We've had utterances from electoral commissioners themselves where they told us before that there will be no need for a new voter registration. Somewhere along the line they changed their position. They said they are doing new voter registration. When they started the voter registration, the conditions that they put in place, were not adhered to. They keep changing their position as and when they get the opportunity. So then it will raise alarm to every meaning Democrat that if you are supposed to be the player, I don't want to believe that you want every Ghanaian to assume you are skewed in one direction or the other. Yes, John Dramani Mahama defended the Electoral Commission. He defended the Electoral Commission he appointed himself and lost election under. Do you understand? He defended the Electoral Commission that he appointed and lost election under his supervision.
Which will tell you that the Electoral Commission, I mean, that's the point that the Electoral Commission has made, that nobody, the Electoral Commission as the arbiter cannot rig elections for anybody. That's the point that the Electoral Commission has made consistently.
It's an assumption. If that is the position, no, wait a minute. If that is the position, that if you elect an electoral commission and the arbiter cannot, what do you call it, rig election, then I ask, what was the position of the MPP and President Nana Addo today? Then, when President Mahama was directing that we should allow the Electoral Commission to, what was his position?
So that's how we wrap up today's discussions on the news review on City TV. I was joined by Henry Kofu, member of the communications team of the MPP, and Alhaji Mohammed Azero, spokesperson for the NDC on Zogo and Muslim affairs. My name is Opoku. Keep watching City TV. The best segment, the next segment on Breakfast TV, follow right after here. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Salamatu. Yes, these are both me. You see, before free SHS, my life could have taken two very different paths. The SHS path depended on how much money my parents had, what sacrifices they were willing to make, and whether they would send me or my little brother Issa to SHS. The other part is what would have become of me if there was no free SHS. But today, thanks to free SHS, my future is bright and promising.
Congratulations, you have a name. He's a boy.
Instead of depending on others, I will stand on my own feet and help my family. Free SHS is where my dreams for a better future and the dreams of thousands of young girls become a reality. Don't let NDC take it away from us. Vote for NPP and give all Ghanaian girls a chance for a better future.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one, Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema, and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204 528 900 or 0244 707 859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the second floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethlog, experts in shipping logistics.
After several weeks of competition and eviction on the Keyboard Idol stage, 7 talented contestants have made it to the Keyboard Idol Grand Finale. Which of the 7 talented contestants will win the ultimate prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis? Is it Calvin, Nanayao, Joel, Erajua, Uriel, Justice, or Nana Kwaku? Let's find out in the final showdown on Saturday, 24th October 2020, as we we crown the keyboard idol. Join us live on City TV at 6 p.m. prompt and witness all finalists as they play their hearts out one last time. Keyboard Idol is sponsored by Santor Energy, Asanka powered by Tech Aid and FateWorks Music School, and is powered by City TV. Keyboard Idol, let the music play.
I met this guy a few months ago. I had a serious crush on him, and so did he, because he told my friend about it. I waited for him to make a move, but he didn't, and so I did. I told him how much I liked him, and he said he liked me too. Then he later slowed things down even though we were not dating. I soon realized that a lot of ladies were also crushing on him, so I backed off because I'm the jealous type. He then told me he likes me, but couldn't date me because he's not financially stable. And I respected his decision. The problem now is he doesn't want me to date anyone, and he's not ready to date me either, but wants to have me around. He initially told me that I can accept another person's proposal as long as it would make me happy. I found someone that loves me, and I've decided to tell him. Now he's acting cold towards me. He's a nice person, but since he can't date me, I have to move on. Now I feel like I'm hurting him, and I want to know if I did the right thing by telling him. Should I have just kept things to myself? This lady wants to know.
I've never seen any guy that likes a girl and is okay with them moving on. Like you're gonna be so possessive over her and make sure that you can do whatever it is to keep her.
You have every right on this planet to move on with your life. If he told you I don't have money and you really loved him, you would insist. You say, you know what, let's try it.
Sister is sponsored by Vodafone. The future is exciting, ready and secure. You decide.
Welcome back. It's time for us to have a conversation on this segment of the Tax Dialogue. Now, I've been joined by Dr. Alex Ampabeng, who is a fiscal policy analyst, specialist with Oxfam, and also Mr. Jeffrey Okansi, who is the Executive Director of Revenue Mobilization Africa. And we're going to have a conversation about the political manifestos and the tax, conversations in that regard. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
How you all doing?
Are we good?
It's been a while.
Yeah. We're following the tax issues.
They're following the tax issues.
So we buried our head in there.
COVID hide us more.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. How do you guys make it through the whole lockdown period and then the whole, different things that we've been through during COVID?
Mostly we have been working from home. So you kind of get yourself confined in one corner.
Yeah.
Trying to do all the things you be doing normally in a normal office environment. But it's been okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, virtual. It's been a virtual life.
Virtual life. All right, so let's get into the conversation. Now, political manifestos, everybody has put out their manifesto now. And what do you make of the manifestos generally as far as their positioning on tax is concerned? Any of you can take it.
Okay. As you rightly said, in every election year, political parties, each of them will put their manifesto, giving all the promises on the things that they want to do.
Yeah.
But one important aspect, which I hope every Ghanaian take serious look at it, is how are we going to finance all the promises in the manifesto? And talking of the financing, we know apart from the few materials we export, the resources we export, predominantly it's about taxation. So both of them have treated the tax differently. If you take the MPP, for example, they look at the tax component of their manifesto, a kind of inbuilt along the various economic or policy positions. So if you take housing, they have how they want to approach housing using taxation.
Yeah.
If you take issues around the general business environment, if you take issues around digitization, so for each aspect of the policy positions, they've embedded tax in it. But if you take the NDC, they also have particular section which only deals with the kind of taxes they want to implement. So kind of quite contrasting positions, but they all speak to the same issue.
Is there any takeaways you had from looking at it, Jeffrey?
Well, when you look at the tax issues that are in both manifestos, I think they have addressed their issues around reliefs, and you know our stance around reliefs. So we are going to be specifically looking at value for money from both parties. I mean, we'll pick the MPP manifesto, we'll pick the NDC manifesto, and then we'll match them against the relief that they are granting, what would be in it for the Ghanaian people, you know. So they've done a wonderful good job, and we've seen that the both of them have presented something enough, good enough for discussion. So would make the scrutiny of what's in there per party, and then today I think we'll focus more on the MPP.
Yeah.
And we're
okay, so let's zoom in straight into the MPP manifesto. I'm sure subsequently we'll address the NDC one as well, but let's start with the MPP one. What I know the last time you were here, we were talking about domestic, revenue mobilization and all of that. And what do you see are positives vis-a-vis negatives as far as that is concerned?
Okay, like I said earlier, I think to be able to assess each of their tax positions, the starting point is being able to see what policy proposals they are putting across. If you have a copy of the manifesto and you go to page 153 of the MPP's manifesto, page 153, the heading I think is on economy. And in there, they have identified 3 things they want to do to improve domestic revenue mobilization using digitized approach. The first one is expanding the tax base. So the tax base, we're talking of taxable activities which have to be brought into the net. So it's a very strong point, because one thing we've all been crying for is that we need to expand the tax base. But one thing that I hope they'll be adding and going forward is not only the tax base, but our challenge in Ghana is actually the tax net.
What's the difference?
So the tax base is simply the activities, the businesses, the individuals, the properties that's supposed to be taxed. Are they being taxed? So i.e. the taxable properties or assets. And then the tax net is having defined the tax base. The net now is about, are you able to tax those who are supposed to be taxed? So the tax base look at the taxable items, and then the tax base net look at the people, how do you get them in?
Pulled into
So normally I use the word net if you go on the sea for fishing. How wide you spread your net determines how many fishes you bring home. So if you're able to cast the net wider, then you're able to catch more fishes. So in the same way, in expanding the tax net, you're looking at, are we able to reach the various people you're supposed to reach? So it's a wonderful initiative, proposal, that they have recognized the need. And they are doing this with digitization, which again, to me, is the foundation. We need to know where the taxpayers are. We need to know where businesses are. So the positive side here is that we have the national ID system currently ongoing. We have the digital address system ongoing. We have the TIN registration. All this, in a way, are very enabling factors which are going to help the tax authority in identifying taxpayers, the activities, and then be able to tax them. The second point they're also proposing in there is that they want to simplify the compliance process. One of the biggest challenges in Ghana is the stages or the complexity of the tax system. How cumbersome the process is and what taxpayers have to go through in paying the taxes, especially the small and medium scale enterprises. They have to go through a series of challenges. Some of them are not so tax educated, and taxes have posed a challenge already. So they're having to digest the complex tax laws, and then the issue of compliance. For example, take the LTOs, the Like Taxpayer Office.
Okay.
If you're based in Tamale, we have only one in the country. So you're based in Tamale, as it stands, anytime you file your tax return, you have to come to Accra.
Yeah.
I mean, where in this world is this thing happening? So this is long overdue, and I'm happy that the manifesto has picked that up as a key issue, which in a way will contribute to improving domestic revenue. Because you don't expect people to keep up complying if they have to go through all this hectic,
process,
cumbersome processes. So in terms of my takes on that, like I said, the first one is the net. You should emphasize more on widening the net, because anything that has to be taxed in this country, we know all the items that have to be taxed, don't we? But the people, especially the informal sector. So going forward, I hope there will be specific policy on taxing the informal sector. And I keep saying the informal sector is not about the person selling wache or the one selling the coconut. But the informal sector is a massive opportunity on its own. Let's use this example I like using all the time. You have these masons, as you call them. This building, this guy can put up a structure like City TV's building in a matter of 3-4 months. He can charge like 100,000 Ghana. He finished, he moved to another one. Within 1 year, this guy can put about 4 or 5 of the same building and pocket almost $500,000. But as it stands, there's no clear-cut way of taxing these people. So we need more robust, more targeted informal sector specific approaches to taxing the sector, and not just the usual, you widen the net, But in widening the net, we normally tend to burden the few that's supposed to be paying, especially those who are in the formal sector.
Yeah. What do you make?
You know, my brother rightly mentioned about online filing of tax returns, and you know, we also place the value on the safety. Once we're pushing people into the digitized arena, we have to be very careful, educating them how to be safe. You know, some of the things that are happening with the MTN and Momo issues ongoing. So once you are asking people to pay taxes via the internet, there will be fraudsters out there. They will be there to hunt these people down. And trust me, if you don't put safety measures in place, people will fall foul to it, and they will not see the need of how you came across this one to just help them. You know, when it comes to also what they've done, they've also made sure that they have digitized their construction permits. And these are one of the things that people used to go through a lot of difficulty going to get permits in the construction industry. And so if you've actually done that, you have actually increased some weight lifting from that area. We're also looking at, when it comes to granting incentives to the automobile sector, they have granted some automobile incentives to Sunny Truck and also our own Cantanta. Unfortunately, we have a funny view over there as well. If you put such an incentive in place for a big giant company outside Ghana, and then you are giving same to Cantata, you'll be, for economic nationalism, you'll be trying to protect your companies against the outside companies. Now it is more like you've put a giraffe and a goat on the level playing field for them to pick something from up. You know, so if you give these incentives to these two companies, carefully made, we will be doing a scrutiny for the both. I mean, both local and then the foreign company. How much of what produced here do they need to finish up their production? And these are assembling plants. So do they really come in here to create only jobs, or they are also going to be making sure that they take production lines from here? Boats and nuts are being manufactured in Ghana. Tire, are they going to get even basics like boats and nuts, tire, and also, let's say, upholstery? What are they going to really be of help to when it comes to our production line? so that if you are saying that maybe our rubber producers or magazine in Kumasi will benefit from this because they'll be producing boats and not and feeding these assembly plants, that's another thing. But if it's only about creating employment, then look at the whole industry of Sonatrach or Cantata. How many persons are they going to be employing? You know, so if that's it's employment alone, then we look at Abasokan where we have people in our backyard here dismantling only vehicles and also selling the parts. That's a big industry enough. If it's only about creating jobs, you know, but if it's about making sure that you bring these plants here, investors here, who are going to invest here, and then they are going to be adopting people's products into putting a finishing touch to their products, then you'll be creating jobs, also creating opportunities for Ghanaian businesses. That is what we'll be looking at. It is not also a cut short to say that for the construction industry, there's a wonderful thing going on there too as well. They're going to grant incentives to some of these people constructing these buildings because they are going to give them this incentive so that they can be able to build and make sure the buildings are affordable.
Okay.
So it's another wonderful initiative. But the proper targeting of this initiative, will it not leave it for the big giants alone? Because how many people will be in the construction, how many people invest into the construction arena? And when they are done, you know these affordable housing schemes, let's do a quick scan of it from when it started in Ghana and see how many even middle income people are able to purchase this affordable housings. So when you do such initiatives, they are good. But the proper targeting of these initiatives is very important so that when you leave the masses behind, you know, the best that can come for most of people will be renting. And when we go to rent issues, our rent taxes issues also come in. So is it that when we are done with this one, we are sure of the specifics that we are going to be getting as a country from rent taxes? Then next, also looking at the number of people who benefit directly from the initiative that we are putting. So value for money will cut across all the things we're looking at. So when you look at that industry as well, the value for money must be very, very, very apt over there so that we can measure exactly how much we're giving, what we get in return as a country from rent taxes, and then how many people are benefiting directly from the sector. But it will give a boom because the construction industry is the second largest employer when it comes to the moment you start constructing a project like a road construction. Carpenters will be employed. You need laborers. You know, so beside agriculture, the next to agriculture, you place construction. The ILO did a survey in Ghana, and they placed them in that direction. I mean, agric is the largest. That one you cannot. I mean, so if you were bringing this auto support, I was expecting that if we go to factories that will come in and build agric machines, you know, if it was going into the industry of, let's say, producing tractors and processors, these supports should go into processors that will process our raw materials, because we are still taking gold and cocoa out there. Look, around CTFM, your area here, there used to be a lot of blacksmiths in this area. I think there's one still down the street. Look, when I did a survey about entrepreneurship in this country, there was one about apprenticeship. One area that most of the people I interviewed were looking at the blacksmith industry. You know, people constantly want to change the necklace, I mean the borders, I mean change it into another something design else, but how many people are in that industry? So if you were coming here with machines to support the gold industry by bringing machines that, you know, one thing I praise Cantata so well for the initiative, but sometimes I ask, what if they invested in machines that could drive our economic nationalism, processing our production products like, let's say, gold, cocoa to start with, cotton, rubber. We're still exporting all these things in their raw state. So if we had machines, companies that will come and build machines that will process these raw materials, when you are giving them incentives, then I can understand that I'll value it, value for money, because a lot of people will be employed. Even if you go by strictly agric, the total number of youths that will get employment from these machines, using them along the supply chain of agriculture alone, the total number of people will be employed, and the taxes that we will reap in, and the revenues that will come to the state and the people will be enough.
So, Dr. Mpaben, the manifestos, as you saw them, and talking about the MPP one specifically, Do you feel like it reflects the reality of where we are?
I would say fundamentally yes.
Okay.
And the reason I'm saying that is that, see, the emphasis on domestic revenue mobilization is very important.
Yeah.
And I think I didn't finish. The third point from how they want to improve DRM is on, what do you call it? Improving the collection. Our key challenge has been leakages in the system. So people who are supposed to pay, are they paying? Do you have a proper auditing mechanisms in place? All this has been identified to me. Using the digitized approach is good. One thing also they've proposed, I think also will help, is on the housing sector. They want to also use kind of tax incentives, like Jeffrey was saying, to stimulate that sector. We all know the housing challenges we have in Ghana. So on page 157 to 158 of the manifesto, there's a proposal to establish Ghana Housing Authority. And then under the Ghana Housing Authority, we're going to have a mortgage finance company, which is going to manage the mortgage, the funds. And one of their mandates is actually with the land issues. So hopefully the issue of land gas, I'm just, maybe I'm being too optimistic. The issue of land gas will overcome. Whilst this don't have direct tax implications, there is one thing I found really interesting. There's a proposal to establish National Housing Rental Support Scheme, which they are proposing to seed with 100 million Ghana who want to rent, people who are identifiable in a job, other formal or informal sector. To be able to qualify, your landlord should be registered with a scheme.
Okay.
Which I find it really good, even though you should pay rental taxes.
Yeah.
But how many of us are paying? I mean, just build your house, rent it out. You don't pay anything. But the law is requiring of you to pay
tax
8% of it on the rental incomes. We don't. So we see lots of people coming to take advantage of this rental support scheme. But your landlord having to register, the money doesn't come to you, the taxpayer. The money is given directly by the government to the landlord, which in a way will help us to build a database of landlords. It will give an idea of the average cost of housing, which will give us some kind of proxy in determining how much somebody should pay. And one thing I also found really, really good, also on page 178 of the manifesto, is that they are proposing to introduce a new tax for the micro and small-scale enterprises. This is a very wonderful idea, and again, we've pushed this for so many times on this program. If you go to countries like Seychelles, they used to have a very difficult informal sector like we have, struggling to tax them. In 2013, the Seychelles government introduced a kind of standard way of taxing small and micro-scale enterprises. So if your income is under $50,000, you only pay 1.5% gross turnover tax, and you don't pay anything again. And the whole assessment is done on one page. So even a primary 5-6-year-old child will understand how it works. Nothing complex. How much do you sell in the year? 46,000. What is 1.5% of it? Give to the government. Job done. You go to Albania. They have a similar approach, where if your income is under $50,000, again, you pay 4%. You go Lithuania, they have the same thing. Theirs is about $35,000. Either you pay the flat rate or do filing. So it's not fair as it stands to have micro, small enterprises having to be subject to the normal corporate income tax returns, which is one of the root causes of tax evasion, because people don't understand it. You get it? So if you simplify the process and people can understand it, I believe the compliance level will shoot. So it's one of the economic realities I would say they've identified, because we know about 90% of our companies are dominated by small and medium scales. We have few multinationals. So if you don't have a specific approach to taxing the dominant sector of your economy, then you have a challenge. So I'm really happy with this new proposal coming in.
Okay. Now, just quickly, if you were to design or to have been, if you were added to the team that was designing this manifesto, what would you have wanted to include?
For me, it would be the tax exemptions. You know, one thing I would have been very, very hard on is the tax exemptions. Look, in 2018 to 2019, each year we give over $4.5 billion in exemptions. The free senior high school cost us only $2.2 billion.
Okay, so let's go back again.
Okay.
Let's talk about tax exemptions.
Yes.
For our viewers. Explain what you mean when you refer to the term tax exemption, and why it is such a problem as we're talking about.
So in a very simple term, when you talk of tax exemptions, it's about the taxes that companies are supposed to pay. You've actually relieved them for whatever reasons. I mean, there are lots of reasons that we give, that we ask companies that this is the tax you're supposed to pay, but we are allowing you either to pay reduced or not to pay at all. One of the reasons could be location. The northern part of Ghana, we know some time ago, was quite deprived. So government introduced, and it's still in place, that if you set up your business in the northern part, in the southern part of the country, you pay reduced tax in a way to encourage economic activity over there. But over the years, one thing we've realized is that we are giving most of those exemptions on the blanket. Some of the companies will register in the north just to claim the exemptions, but they're operating in Accra. And some of them have been going on for years. So I would have had a system where we have a very well-targeted tax exemption regime. I'm not saying it's bad, but let's look at the economic benefits of it. What are the pros and cons, the costs and then the gains for the tax for us? Until we can do this, also make sure that every now and then we track to see who is benefiting. People in the free zones, most are not paying. Before the term ends for them to start paying, they wrap up, come back and change the company's name. So can we introduce something like exit taxes? So if you exit before the exemption time, you'll be forced to pay all the taxes you've enjoyed. So I would have been more harder on the exemptions, looking at 2019 exemption, being able to pay for free SHS and all our road budgets. That is how big the problem is.
Okay. Jeffrey.
Like my brother said, the tax exemptions and narrowing down on that one. That's why we worried that the manifesto did not speak about the tax exemptions bill, where they got into and how they look at passing the bill and making it a law and everything else. We also look at
considering that it's a bill, right? How disappointing is it that it's not included in the conversation?
Well, it's quite disappointing because you want to know, because especially when it's a document that's going to govern everybody else in this country on how we're going to be granting these incentives. You know, so you would expect that there will be a talk around it to see how far we're going to put it in place while it guides all the incentives that they have stated in there as a party. But it also shows you that all the incentives they are granting, I'm sure they are taking inspiration from that document. So we cannot be too hard on them, but I think it would have been proper if they had it in there to solidify their respect for that bill. I also looked at tax irregularities. It was absent in the manifesto, you know. But as I speak with you now, the 2019 document that comes from the AG, the Auditor General, stated that we lost 2,666,743,134 Ghana cedis to tax irregularities alone. For a period of 2015 to 2019, we lost 8,458,911,182 Ghana cedis. So you see what it is for a revenue mobilizer like me. I think about after we've gathered, we're saying the expert tells you that after researching, they realize we've gathered something that we can gather more. But if we've gathered just this little, how much is sipping away is a problem. Also, that a problem was cash irregularities. And that was the abuse of the VAT refund, you know, the tax refund and the VAT Act 2013-870. That's also an issue. But you asked my brother if we had anything, if we saw in there You know, if we were ourselves were included in the committee, what would we like to put in there? Yeah. I think I would have proposed that they remove all tax incentives from tobacco and Akua products, you know, because these are the things that are going to be putting a lot of weight on our health budget, and rather they should place sin taxes on these products. While you remove all taxes from it, you should rather place sin taxes on them. I would also have insisted that we rather put tax on the gains from lottery. Okay. Rather than removing it, we should rather put taxes on them because it's a form of income or benefit for some people. And then rather,
that's a chance.
I would rather call for a removal of taxes from sanitary pads. Okay. And then I would also like to enforce the gift tax. You know, people are still giving tax, and it's a law that they should give some tax.
Above a certain amount, you have
to give taxes to it. So I believe if we do that very well, we'll be safer. You know, if we are just smart enough to quickly look around, there are very wonderful ways we can mobilize some funding for this country. The processes he said are wonderful. Let's educate the people the more. And when we have educated them, I'm sure they will understand the systems very well. When they understand such systems, it becomes very, very easy, because when you look at the final recommendations, when it comes to tax irregularities, the final recommendations that the Auditor General gives to the country were the same things that we sit here every day and talk about. You know, it's actually, he talks about strengthening and monitoring and supervision for staff of the GRA. Okay. He talks about improving the efficiency in tax collection, which my brother again today mentioned here. And then he also talks about applying sanctions prescribed by the tax laws on defaulters. So you see, over and over again, it has to do more with commitment to implement some of the things we as CSO community members have been saying, what governments have always been saying, and international rules that apply.
Fantastic. Quickly wrap up for us.
Yes, I think we have to be a bit fair on the MPP manifesto, because the page 157, they talk about the exemptions. Okay. And one thing they said, they actually stress that exemptions will not be given on the blanket, and that was the statement. So going forward, they are proposing more like cost-benefit way of analyzing whether each particular exemption worth it. Okay. So I think that let's clarify that. Right. But having said that, I think overall it looks good. I hope that it's not just going to be a paper document, that finally whoever comes in, and because today we are doing the MPP, that if the MPP comes in, these proposals will not be swept under the carpet, because we cannot depend on loans or any other form of financing. The money has to be generated domestically to finance our development.
Fantastic. I want to say a big thank you to you, Dr. Alex Ampaben, who is a fiscal policy specialist with Oxfam, and also to Mr. Jeffrey Okansi, who's Executive Director of Revenue Mobilization Africa. Let's take a look at our entertainment highlights. We'll be back to continue the conversation.
Hello there, welcome to Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Emmanuel Sapon. Now, a few days ago, actress illegally held cases at a social media user for calling her Barry. A similar incident has happened. Ghanaian gospel musician Joyce Blessing has cursed her former publicist, Juliana Intiamwa, popularly known as Julie J, in a leaked audio which has surfaced on social media. Now, in the audio, the gospel musician accused her former publicist of being behind the reason her content keeps getting flagged on YouTube. According to the visibly angry gospel musician, the email account that keeps reporting her songs to be flagged belongs to Julie J. And knowing her to be the computer wizard she is, she firmly believes she is the one behind the account. Joyce Blessing, who had a fallout with her former publicist and manager, husband a few months ago, claims that she had paid Julie J all that is due her and does not understand why she would want to cause her pain and suffering. She swore on her life that her publicist will know no peace until she kneels before her and begs for forgiveness. Ghanaian comic actor Justice Himes, popularly known as Imbemusem, who plays Jesus Christ in his comedy skits, has announced that he has changed his name. Speaking to Abeke Santana on OKFM, he noted that his role has changed and would now want to be known as the Holy Spirit and not Ghana Jesus. The comic actor about a year ago caught the attention of Ghanaians with his rip-cracking skits as he played the character of Ghana Jesus. Now, even though he was criticized for blaspheming, he did not stop with hilarious skits. He was able to garner a lot of followers and viewership on social media. He currently runs Jesus Today Comics on his YouTube channel. So what will the new Musem be doing with the Holy Spirit character? And on to some international news. Taraji P. Henson has made it public that her relationship with Kelvin Hayden has ended. The Hollywood actress confirmed the breakup during an interview on The Breakfast Club. Taraji and a former NFL player got engaged back in May 2018 and were reportedly set to get married in June. She told the host of the popular New York City radio show that she tried. She said that because both of them were not on the same page, it feels like she was taking it on herself, and that's not a fair position for anybody to play in a relationship. Now, the Empire star was speaking as a panelist on The Breakfast Club about trauma and relationships, where she also mentioned that she is concerned about mental health. According to Taraji, quote, "It hurts when relationships don't last. I love to see black love and I want to see more of it. I want to see our relationships last and make it," end quote. And that's all for Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Emmanuel Sakyi. Please do enjoy the rest of the show.
Holding on to integrity and professionalism, our voices speak to you. We are the thread that holds society, the fire that ignites social discourse. We are defined by the voices in the waves, the ink in the papers, and expressionist idealism across social platforms. We owe allegiance to one cause: freedom and justice. We are the Ghana Journalist Association. Under the theme COVID-19 and credible presidential parliamentary election, the media factor, we present to you the 25th GJA Awards, to be chaired by Her Excellency Stephanie Sullivan, U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, on the 24th October 2020 at the Mövenpick Ambassador Hotel at 7 p.m. Guest speakers: His Lordship Justice Kwesi Anin-Yeboah, Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. The 25th GJA Award is proudly sponsored by Volta River Authority, ADB, MTN, ECG, Ghana Gas, U.S. Embassy, Government of Ghana, Ghana Chamber of Mines, Zoom Lion, Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority, Petroleum Commission, Euroget Group, National Commissions Authority, Nestle Ghana, Buoy Power Authority, and FPN Bank. Supported by Ghana Shippers Authority, World Vision, McDan Shipping Company, National Road Safety Authority, Mövenpick Hotel, GCB, InnoLink, Plan Ghana, Stanbic Bank, Gold Coast Refinery, Newmont, SNIT, Nuclear Power Ghana, Meridian Port Services, Vocacom, Environmental Protection Agency, Ashfall, Cheesy Pizza, J.A. Binney Company, Satellite Africa Network Services, and Baggio Gold Mining Company. Powered by Globe Production, the 25th GJA Awards, recognizing excellence in journalism.
I met this guy a few months ago. I had a serious crush on him, so did he, because he told my friend about it. I waited for him to make a move, but he didn't, and so I did. I told him how much I liked him, and he said he liked me too. Then he later slowed things down, even though we were not dating. I soon realized that a lot of ladies were also crushing on him, so I backed off because I'm the jealous type. He then told me he likes me, but couldn't date me because he's not financially stable. And I respected his decision. The problem now is he doesn't want me to date anyone. And he's not ready to date me either, but wants to have me around. He initially told me that I can accept another person's proposal as long as it would make me happy. I found someone that loves me, and I've decided to tell him. Now he's acting cold towards me. He's a nice person, but since he can't date me, I have to move on. Now I feel like I'm hurting him, and I want to know if I did the right thing by telling him. Should I have just kept things to myself? This lady wants to know.
I've never seen any guy that likes a girl and is okay with them moving on. Like you're gonna be so possessive over her and make sure that you can do whatever it is to keep her.
You have every right on this planet to move on with your life. If he told you I don't have money and you really loved him, you would insist. You say, you know what, let's try it.
Sister Sister is sponsored by Vodafone. The future is exciting, ready and secure. You decide.
Welcome back. It's Breakfast Daily on TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, it's still Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and MOG Music is doing something to help us all get screened. I have two people with me who are going to help us understand how we can all go out and get screened this week. I'm talking about Cecil Korte, who's a manager at MOG Music, as well as Akua Forson, who's administrator at MOG Music. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you both doing?
We're very well. Yourself?
I'm good. So let me start with you, Cecil.
Sure.
Tell us a bit about Breast Cancer Awareness Month and how important it means to MOG Music.
Okay, so we realized that if you follow our ministry, a lot of our women, our sisters, our mothers, our girlfriends even, we realized that they form a predominant part of our followers or our fans. So we deemed it fit, why not take advantage of Pink October? It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Why not give back, you know, MOG Music, giving back to these wonderful fans of us that have been following our music for some time? Why don't we show some love to them? So we thought it wise just to put together an event which we were doing on Saturday, basically creating awareness about breast cancer. I'm sure my sister will go into the details about
Yes.
you know, all of that, but it's basically to create awareness, create some hype, create a platform where these women will come and have themselves checked, you know, on Saturday. Basically, that's what we're doing.
Ikea.
Okay, so thank you once again, Dziffa. We realize that breast cancer is the primary cause of cancer death in women in Ghana, you know, and we are worried about it because the symptoms is not known. It's just a lump that you see and it's painless, you know. So the best thing to do is to get screened, you know, to always look out for the lumps. Let a professional look at it and make sure that it is checked whether it is cancer or not. And sometimes we take these things for granted. And unfortunately for us, it is not just the women. Both men and women are prone to breast cancer, but it's most common in women. So we decided, why not? Why not bring it to the doorstep of our women, the market women? They are so busy, they don't get the time to go to the hospitals for checkups. So it is good for us to go to their doorstep where they are close to us. They can just quickly come and get screened. If they have a problem, we get them checked into the hospital and then we take it from there. So we are actually partnering with Eurocare to hold this CSR.
How important is it for ministries like yours to lead the charge? Because we're in a country where hospitals are usually the last resort for most people. The minute they see something funny, they'll go to churches, they'll go to the fetish priest, they'll go to every place else until they're about to die. By the time they go to the hospital, it's too late.
Yeah, actually 70% of the women that are diagnosed with breast cancer in Ghana, it's already found out that it's already in the advanced stages. They get to the hospital when it is very, very late. Our ministry, we encourage our people to, you know, get to seek professional help. It is not, God gave us the wisdom, you know. He gave us the wisdom to get these medicines done for our own
consumption.
Yeah, so I find it strange when people do not want to get checked, you know. So MOG Music, we are encouraging all our fans, both men and women, The men especially, they think it's just we, the women, that need to get screened. The men should also come and get screened because men are also prone to breast cancer. Unfortunately, because the lump is painless, we take it for granted. We are very passionate about this one, and we are pleading with everyone. Once you're a fan of MOG, you love MOG music, please, Saturday, just join us.
It's interesting. Once you mentioned the men, you know, you'd see even some of the guys in the studio are just touching their breasts to see whether, because some have flat, you know, chests, and they're wondering, hey, you know, am I supposed to be? Yes, here. But we're talking also to you. You need to be there. You know, just it's free. It's just come, have it checked, and be sure you're safe. Because early detection is also very important, so you can start treatment. And like she mentioned, we're in partnership with EuroCare. And EuroCare is providing, you know, doctors of very high repute. We have about 7 doctors that are going to be there. We have nurses. It's happening at Rawlings Park in the heart of Accra on Saturday, 24th. And we're inviting everybody, as many that can come there. We have a lot of surprises also. Oh, nice. You know, I don't know if it's safe for me to say, but we have Wache.
Nice.
For
Rocks
Wache, the Wache in the jar.
In the jar. Okay.
Yeah, so they are also supporting us, you know, with some Wache in a jar. Okay. We have free sanitizers, we have free face shields. I mean, there's so much more. Okay. You also have up close and personal with MOG music. In fact, remember he was here a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, he was.
And then because we launched our 5th album, we are still on the road to promoting our album. We have so many songs out there. It's on all digital stores. Yeah, digital platforms. Okay. So basically, it's MOG music. It's music in connection with health. And a lot of fun.
Doesn't get any better than that. Yes. Can you give us the details? Exactly what time should we get there?
Okay, so we are getting there at 8 in the morning and we'll stay till about 3 p.m. The good thing is, if you are detected to have a lump which is cancerous, when you get to EuroCare, they have a discount, 50% discount for you once you come to our event. Okay. So I think that everyone should take advantage of this. So I don't know. This is a very good opportunity. If you know EuroCare, you know they are one of the top. They are very. So please encourage all your viewers to join us on Saturday. So 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Free Wache, free face shields, free sanitizers. Just come and then let's have fun.
Thank you so much, Akua and Seso, for being with us. They are from MOG Music. And this Saturday at exactly 8 a.m., we're all heading over to Rawlings Park. It's not far from here, free screening. If they find out that you do have something, you just stand a chance of getting 50% off at EuroCare. Okay, so there's no fear. Don't worry. Let's come get screened. And they have freebies for us as well. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. And you know, we have the show Keyboard Idol, and Keyboard Idol is slowly coming, or quickly coming, to a finale, and this weekend is going to be the finale. And one of our sponsors for Keyboard Idol, FaithWorks Music School, the director is here with us, and we're going to have a quick conversation with him. Good morning to you, Pastor Blankson.
Good morning, David. I'm doing well, and you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Wonderful.
So just tell, for the benefit of our viewers who don't know meeting you for the first time about Faithworks Music School. Who are you, and what is Faithworks Music School?
Thank you, David. Always a pleasure meeting you. I want to thank all the sponsors of the Keyboard Idol, the Santol and the Asanka, for the great work. It was a teamwork and it's been great. And I want to thank all the Faithworks Music School family members, the staff, the parents, the teachers, and special thanks to DMC Ghana. Akua, we call her Pretty. She did a lot of stuff putting this program together. Sometimes I'm called Mr. Blankson, sometimes I'm called Pastor Blankson. That's because this is what I do. Mr. Blankson is the music person.
Okay.
And the Pastor Blankson is the pastor.
Okay.
So I'm a pastor, okay, and I'm a businessman as well. Okay. Well, I went to the University of Education, Winneba, to do my first degree, as well as my second degree. And before that, I was already doing ministry. So when I did this music course, I mean, it had that energy in me to take music very seriously. Okay. So I was taken as a teaching assistant at the university. And from there, I started the Galas International School. They are music departments for them. Okay. And from there, we just focused on Faithworks Music School. So it's been ministry and music.
Ministry and music,
yes.
I like that.
Yes.
Who qualifies to be a part of Faithworks Music School?
Faithworks Music School, I always say that is the only music school in the world, not just Africa or Ghana, but in the world that has all the different ages in terms of enrollment. We have the kids department, we have the adult certificates, and we have our tertiary program as well, which is more like our diploma program. Okay. And so from the kids department, we take from age 4 to like 12. Then the adults above 13 years, we take from 13 to 85 years. Okay. Even this morning I had a great lesson.
85 years?
85 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yesterday and this morning I have to have personal lesson for, I call them adult class. Anybody after 50 years to 80, I call them adult class. I handle them personally. And I did one before this interview. Then we also have the tertiary program where once you have your senior high school or WASI certificate, you can enroll on that program. Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes people are concerned when they want to join a school like a music school. They want to find out whether the certificate is something they can use, you know, for further studies or, you know, and so maybe even a job. Are you certified? You have accreditation? Let's know.
Yes. So we're running the school without a proper, let's say, certification until 2014. Okay. So officially, the school was registered with the Registrar General's Office of Ghana in 2014, January to be precise. Okay. Then we are also regulated by the University of Ghana, especially for our diploma program. They regulate our exams, how we go about our lessons, and the affiliation process is actually ongoing. When we're going to have our graduation, the University of Ghana will come and do the certification and the awarding. Okay. Then we also certified by the Ghana Education Service. They also have their logo being embossed on our certificate because we've gone through all the proper processes with the Ghana Education Service. Then we have Birmingham University in the UK. We have Anglia Ruskin also in the UK. Okay. Then we have Calistic Music Academic also in Germany. Wow. They are all, I mean, affiliate
you sorted yourself out.
In terms of those, okay,
so quickly, how can people find you?
Well, our office number is 0240492636.
Okay, please repeat that again.
0240492636. Then you can also reach us on 02422555008. Okay. We also have our social media handles. Yes. We have an authentic website, Faithworks Music, www.faithworksmusicschool.com. Okay. You can also email us at faithworksmusicschool.com with the Gmail account. Yeah. So we can just make info at faithworksmusicschool.com, and it comes straight to our mail. Okay. Then on Facebook, you can just search for Faithworks Music School, and you can get us there.
All right.
And
thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We've been speaking with Mr. Mr. Kofi Blankson. He is the director of Faithworks Music School. And Faithworks Music School, of course, you know, is one of our sponsors for Keyboard Idol. Well, we've come to the end of the show. My name is David Kwekusechi.
And I am Dziffa Ametam. Thank you so much for spending your Thursday morning with us. Remember that if you missed any segment of the show, you can head on over to our YouTube page, CityTube. Like, comment, don't forget to subscribe for more updates and share with your family and friends. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow at 7:30. Have a great day.